Paintball nerd.
Today's guest on Paintball Nerds Fun 5 started playing paintball in 1998 with his father. In 2008, he went pro with Aftermath. He's played for Vicious. He's played for Entourage. He's played for Damage. He's played for Dynasty. He now plays for Impact. He's a father of two. Superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Dalton Vanderbyl.
But when you say all those teams, it does sound like a lot.
Well, you can count them on one hand, and that's
Yeah.
rare. Like for someone who's been playing as long as you have, it's
Right.
it's rare. Like people play for a lot of teams, man.
Yeah. Teams, a lot of buddies that I started with, and we start teams, and then people end, or people I've had many friends that come and gone in this game, and but so I just keep going.
Exactly. You want to continue playing the game, and you're also looking for opportunities that make sense for you to continue playing the game, because we have
Right.
real life too, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. Family and
So,
all that.
yeah. So that's what Impact has been able to create for you, right? Is that opportunity to continue playing the game you love.
Right. And it's nice because, my wife has been with me since, when I started on Dynasty, and we've had children now, and I've had a big boy job and more time away. Paintball adds even more time away. So it is nice, to get somewhat of a salary and be able to explain to the wife why you're leaving every weekend, and be like, hey, it's just, yeah, it sounds like it's just another job, but for me, it's like, it's kind of double dipping, you get to do something you love and, make a little extra.
Yeah, and I think it's a rare thing for you to be able to have fulfillment in life, and also have that fulfillment make sense from a financial perspective when you need to support a family.
Yep.
So, in other words, Dalton, you're living the dream.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Every day, I wake up with a smile on my face. I'm happy. It's nice to have my wife's support. Happy to like look forward to something in life. It's like people say you can't be happy without a purpose. And every day I wake up with a purpose. For myself, for goals, and paintball kind of keeps me young, keeps me motivated, keeps me active, And, I kind of think long term down the road, maybe my kids might be saying like, oh, that's pretty cool. Dad did that,
I certainly think they would, man. Like if they look at all the videos and
Yeah.
content like this, and it's like, well, my dad was a badass. Like my dad was at the top of something. He accomplished something real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty hard to be, good at anything in life, let alone, considered one of the top, or even a professional, whether it's one of the top or not. I'm not going to self-proclaim myself, but
I'll proclaim it for you, dude. You're at the top. If you look at the percentage of people who play professional paintball, an even smaller percentage of those individuals get a salary.
Right. Yeah.
So how do we say that you're not at the top? You're
That's
certainly at the top.
That's very true. Yeah. There's only a handful of guys, that are able to get a salary, and, and they're going to take it from. No, I'm just kidding.
You always have to pretend like they're going to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're coming
Dude,
from me.
how has being a correctional officer helped you with conflict on the field?
Yeah, that's a good point. I never really thought about it. Definitely, I've been put in situations, where people push your buttons, test your limits. Yeah. I'm not a super macho guy, but I do have that little thing where like I want to, show my manhood, and I could fight, and I could, when I was a kid, and as I grew older, I grew out of it. But I definitely think working in an environment where you see, people that are, always causing trouble and conflict, and you're like trying to teach them, because I'm kind of like a mentor. I view myself as a mentor for some of the people that are inmates, and I'm like, hey, you have to have self-control. Think about your family. Think about, just learn to control your temper. As a man, it's hard. So when you see it and you preach it, you kind of have to live it. So I definitely think, you know, it's probably changed since you were in the game, but I remember back when I was a kid, it seemed like everyone was getting in fights. It was scary
Oh
to
yeah,
play paintball, but now
sure.
it's not really like that. I mean, yeah, sure, it happens, but people get shot, and back then, if you got overshot once or twice, it was like, hey, what the heck? Now it's just kind of
Yeah,
normal.
yeah. Like I see people just like take it, like get bonus balls and just walk
Yeah,
off the field and don't say anything. And that was not the case back in the day. Like it was personal.
yeah,
And if it wasn't, that person made sure that they let you know, like, sorry, dude, you just kept running, so I kept shooting.
right.
Like there was those kinds of dialogues. Whereas whereas today it's just like you take your lumps and you get off the field. I think X-Ball helped out with that.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because back then if you're shooting, the mechanicals and you're like sitting there tink tink tink, tink it's like
It's super intentional.
it feels like an hour you just got shot at. You're like, "Wait, why is
Yeah.
that guy?"
You see a lot of violence, like a lot of conflict in the
Yeah,
past in
yeah.
your job?
Yeah, I did, and it did get to me at first. My heart goes out to any officer struggling with seeing that stuff because it's not normal, for human beings. Like when you see violence or people, traumatic experiences, it gets to you. And luckily, I have a good family and a good support team, and I'm kind of an open book when it comes to like sharing my emotions. So I'm like, I just talk to people like, hey, how, seeing that, how is it your first time seeing this? And they're like, oh, because at first glance you look around and you're like, everyone's taking it so well, and then you start
Mm,
asking people and you're like, hey, how are you taking this? And then they're telling you, yeah, I was a little shooken up. I'm like, well, it didn't appear that you were
yeah.
shooken up. And it
I'm
makes
just numb
you,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
or they just say I'm numb. So I would just kind of be an open book and talk to people like, hey, did that kind of shake you up? And then truth comes out. They're like, yeah, that did shake me up. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not just a weird guy that gets all emotional, and I'm normal for feeling this way.
So what's the craziest thing you've seen?
Um, so the craziest thing, I mean, so I was at a level 4 yard, which is a GP yard. It's a gang population, and every once in a
Wow.
while, they have terms where people just basically don't fit in with the crew. So whether the offense they committed, or whether they went to some place. I mean, it's as simple as one guy had a tattoo that was a clover tattoo. And
Mm.
then in the prison system, you have to earn this clover tattoo. So
Oh.
this guy was ordered to get, off the yard. So they're essentially gonna make, weapons. They call them shanks. They make them
Yeah.
out of. There's metal everywhere in prison, which is just mind-boggling because you're like, why would they give them so much metal? I mean, their beds are made out of metal, so they could just
Yeah.
sit there and carve out, a shank and put a milk plastic, put a handle on it. And then they just
Wow, dude.
go to town on each other. And I've seen many, many altercations of people, losing their lives. And
Wow,
yeah,
Dalton.
so yeah. And then also, self harm is very common in the prison system. People just can't take it, and knowing, they're away from their family. I mean, yeah, suicide in prison is rampant in the system. Because most people you lock them up in a cage or you put them away from their family, and it's not a
Yeah.
good combo.
So conflict on the field for you is like non-existent. It's like water off a duck's back. It's like, dude, I've seen I've seen some shit, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. And I didn't even really think about that, but no, yeah, you're right. It's like nothing now. It's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
yelling at me. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Sorry, I took an extra step. I actually shot your guy. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I'm actually known for like, even we practiced heat the other weekend, and there's actually a video I think I posted, HK posted, that I bunkered out Ronnie. And then they all yelled at me like, "No, he's staying, stay." One of those things. Stay in. He got shot first. He got shot first. And I'm like, "Well, let's fight about it." I was totally being kidding, joking. And then
Yeah.
they're like, because they're all getting crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
that's my way to like, I don't know, be funny. Because I just use my humor to get me out of any situation. But I'm like, whatever, who cares? It's paintball, it's practice. There's no winner
Rabble,
here.
rabble, rabble. And then you made it
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if they want to fight, I'll just run away. I'm like, you win, you
Yeah.
win.
Well, Dalton, over the past several years, right? I'm sure you've amassed quite the library of amazing memories with the people that you've played with and the teams you've played with. Share with us a memory that really sticks out for you in paintball.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I guess I could give you two. One of my early memories in paintball, and then one when I was pro, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I was really young. My dad started when my dad got me out there when I was 9, and then I was too young to play at the time. But because you had to be 10, I think back in the day, I started at SC Village, and my dad started a team and the whole nine, and he was dragging me out there, and I was like, no, I hate paintball. It's scary. I'm like playing against these grown men. So I really didn't start playing till I was like 12. But the way I got started, from that 9 to 12 period, I was just kind of out. I was like scared. I didn't want to do it. But anyways, my dad was competing in a tournament. I don't remember all the details, but I'll give you the cool story in my my memory that sticks in my memory. My dad was playing a tournament, and one of his guys got hurt, and so they needed a fifth player, and I was there, watching, and my dad was like, "You got to play, like just run out there, do what you can." I played like once or twice before that, and I'm scared as all heck. It's actually I have a funny video of me. I could barely hold the gun. I remember loading, and I like dropped the gun. And I was a small kid. I'm small now, but I think, yeah. And so I was 12 at that time.
Yeah.
So my dad, makes me go out there. I'm like, sure, let's do it. And then I'm starting at the gate, and there's a whole crowd of people, which is probably not that many, but it felt like hundreds of thousands of people. And they're all chanting, Dalton, Dalton. And at the time, there was no kids there, like 0 kids, like maybe not even early 20-year-olds at the time at that place at the tournaments. And they're chanting my name, and I'm like getting the butterflies and all the fun stuff.
Is this on Hyperball?
It was on an airball field, and it had those like
Airball, okay.
tubes, the little tubes that
Yeah.
link.
Connector tubes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so yeah, they're chanting my name, and I'm like, okay, I better do good. And they sent me like up the center, and I just run. And I run like to the 40-yard line, and I'm just like barely gonna hold my gun. And I'm shooting, holding a lane, and I freaking drop my gun trying to reload. But the best part about it is a guy comes around, and I smoke him right in the face, and the whole like crowd is just going, ah! And then we end up winning, and and it was just
The whole
like
tournament?
no, that game.
Oh, okay.
The player actually started. He played after, anyways, but we won that match, that point. It was just a regular 5-on-5, 5-man. But yeah, and I shot the guy, and then they were going crazy, and then my teammates are all going crazy, and then after that, I was hooked. I was like, I love this game.
Nice, dude. That's a good one.
Yeah. And then the short one is when I turned pro. Well, I played pro with Entourage and stuff, but like when I got on Dynasty the first year, we went to France. I think I've told this story before, but
What year was this?
2011. And we went to the very first tournament I played with Dynasty was in France, and I walk out to the gate, getting ready. I was one of the starters, and I look around, and it's Oliver, Alex, Ryan, and Yosh. It's the other 4 on my team. and to preface this is like I was the biggest Dynasty fan ever. Like I said, I was a kid at the field. I was going to the fields all the time. Like these guys are like gods to me. Like I never really liked any other sports, paintball. Like they could be Michael Jordan to me.
Totally.
And I'm just like looking around, and I was like almost like overwhelmed with like emotions and butterflies, because it's like I don't want to fail these guys. These are my literal heroes. And I told him, I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm playing with you guys. And Ryan was like, you better not screw this up. And we actually won that whole tournament, and I had like the tournament of my life. Like I played every point. I was just
That's
like
amazing.
feasting, and then I became their hero. No,
yeah, dude. Well, I mean, Ryan speaks very highly of you, and he doesn't do that to about many people. And that's a hell of a first tournament to play with Dynasty. France, geez, man. And for those that don't know about France, it's like manicured grass, pristine conditions, stadium with tons of people watching. So there's some added allure and some pressure involved with it.
No, you're totally right, because it felt like a real event. It felt like a real sporting event because the way they have it set up with the grandstands in the stadium. So it did add pressure, and I was like, that was the first tournament. Well, besides that first time I played ever, that I was getting like butterflies and like anxious and like nervous. But that doesn't happen anymore.
So it's just another day on the job for you. So before that, though, you won with Aftermath, right?
Yeah, we won a tournament in 2008. I think Rainey was on the team. Chris Soya. Yeah, Rainey. It's funny. I like listening to Rainey because he has like the best memory ever, and I'm like, he refreshes me. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that did happen. But yeah, I do remember that tournament very, very well. But Chris Soya, Mouse, Stephen Pitts, it was a fun team, and it was like Bobby Aviles, and it was taking down Ironman, who was like top of the spear at that time. Oliver Lane, Johnny Perchek, and B Short, amazing player.
Basically, all those Dynasty 2.0.
Yeah, seriously. Yep.
Cool. Well, who's your favorite teammate over the years?
Oh, that's a good one. Teammate. So it's okay. Let me think.
I'm gonna ask you next who your favorite player to watch is. You can name a couple. It's not right. No pressure.
So fortunately for me, I've gotten to play with the best. Like I just named those four guys, and I called it the Goat Mountain with those four guys, and Oliver, Yosh, Alex, and Ryan. They're just the four horsemen. One of my favorite players. Many people don't know him. Glenn Takamoto. I mean, I know you know him.
I know Glenn. Yeah.
Glenn was one of my favorite players because he was just
the eagle.
The eagle, yeah. He was just a sniper. He always knew, like, just he would read my body language and be like, yeah, do that. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, wait, how does he know what I'm thinking? And then he was just an amazing player, man. I sad that he retired so early. I know he had kids and got out of the game early, but he was amazing player, amazing teammate.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. How about player to watch?
Player to watch, probably Oliver. I mean, like I said, when I was a kid growing up, watching those guys, watching Oliver, just watched that new HK video. I still just get mesmerized. Like when he came back out for World Cup, it was like me and Marcelo were joking. It was hard to like play because you want to watch him. You want to just. Yeah. It's like seeing a legendary. The legend of Oliver Lang. But yeah, growing up, it's definitely Oliver. Great teammate too. It's just funny like how much he's taught me, and I always make jokes like Rusty Glaze or some of the coaches over the years would give us game plans like, all right, stick to the script, you go here, you look inside, you do your job, and then Oliver would be in my ear like, hey, screw that, we're gonna go win down this side, me and you just go, we're gonna go for it. And I still have that, and that taught me a valuable lesson. It's like always play to win.
Yeah.
If the ball is in your hands, some people want the ball in their hands. Some people don't. So, yeah.
There's a big difference between the two individuals.
Yeah.
I try to identify what it is that I like about watching Oliver so much. Like I've tried to actually like verbalize it. It's difficult, but I think I'm close. And one of them is that thing that he wants the ball when the game is on the line. Like he wants the responsibility for the team to win for his team. Yeah. So that's one thing. Another thing that I've identified is when you watch Oliver play, it looks like his paintball marker is leading the way and he's kind of following along with it somehow.
Wow.
We know that that's not the case, right?
Yeah,
that's not the case. Wow. But if you watch him, his gun is like leading everything and he's like all along for the ride, and the gun has a mind of its own. Watch it. See if you can see it.
No, as you said that, I was thinking like, that's a great way to explain it. It's like, it's a weird way, but it definitely seems true.
Yeah.
It's like he's like he's like a skilled swordsman. It's almost it's like
Exactly,
he's got
dude. Yeah, it's definitely hard to explain, but that's my best shot at it. So,
yeah, that's yeah.
so you got some cool jerseys behind you there, Dalton.
Yeah, there's some Dynasty stuff, an American USA jersey, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
What's your most cherished item in paintball?
So it's gonna be the Oliver Lang show, I guess. But Oliver gave me a headband when he was on the Iron Kids, and I wore that headband everywhere. It was like I couldn't be caught without it. I played every tournament. I won like every pro tournament with it. And then Hormesis came out and they started throwing around headbands, so it kind of ruined it for me because they're like, no, just wear it, don't be weird. Like I'm like, but this is my headband. I love this headband. They're like, no.
What kind of headband was it? Like it's obviously it said Iron Kids on it, but what kind of headband was it?
It was just like one of those Sandana tiger, what is it called? Tiger stripe kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I still have it. I don't know where it is, but
do you wear it?
Actually, I put it back in my bag. I had it hung up in here, and I had like the Hormesis stuff, and I love Hormesis stuff, but I'm still flirting with what I want to use currently, so I put that back in the bag. So maybe I'll be wearing that again.
Yeah, there's headbands that I've always had in my gear bag, and then at some point they just reach this level of nostalgia where they're so important that I don't want to lose them, so they stay at home.
Yes,
but it's like
it's scary.
yeah, and I know several players that don't put their headwear in their luggage; they put it on their carry-on so they make sure they don't lose it. Isn't that weird?
That is kind of strange. That's a little far, but yeah. If I figured,
I did it last time I played.
You did it. Yeah. I figured if fate has it and someone takes it or I lose it, then whatever. It's just what it is. I can't stress too much.
Exactly. I mean, you've watched someone get shanked, so it's a headband, right?
Yep.
So Dalton, man, what does it take to get to the top? What advice would you give? Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Dalton in 1998, you get to talk to him. Okay, what advice are you going to give that?
I like this. It's so frustrating because you look back as I'm sure any older man, women, everyone do this, and you're like, why are you wasting so much time doing that, or why are you playing video games? And I have kids now, so you're like, dude, you can't waste time, but it's just how the cycle goes, So to be honest, I don't think I would change much. I would fall in love with paintball how I fell in love with paintball. I would not overwhelm myself and be so scripted because, it's tough and a lot of people get burnt out and they play too much or they don't have fun. And I've done it all. I've played with Mike Hinman, who is like, I owe him so much. And he was militant about a lot of things and the structure and his way. And if you're messing up, you're hearing about it, which, if you can handle it, that's the best way to learn, because you're probably not going to make the same mistakes often. If you messed up, you're going to hear about it. You're going to get yelled at, who knows what's going to happen. You might, but it is the best way to learn. And I'm so thankful that I got to learn from a coach that was strict on me, and and my dad was kind of the opposite. He was just like, he would just kind of praise the things I did good and, not so much talk about the things I did bad. So I had almost the perfect people in my corner. It was like, no, it was just that balance. So which made me now still to this day love the game because I could fall back on whoever I wanted to. If I'm messing up and I'm like losing confidence, I could go to a Hinman and be like, what is going on? And shoot me straight. Or, if I'm on cloud 9 and I get to tell my dad, like all the cool people, all the things I shot and all the cool moves I made, he's just like, oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it's crazy how many people Mike Hinman has put on the scene.
Yeah.
That are, how many players came up under the Mike Hinman camp. The first person I ever met in tournament paintball was Mike Hinman.
Oh, really? Wow.
I didn't. Yeah. Like I was in San Diego. And there was this little paintball store called San Diego Paintball, which was like part of a tire shop. and I would just go there every day. And this kid named Truman worked there. And then Mike Hinman showed up one day, and he's on this team called Sick and Twisted. And I learned about tournament paintball from Mike Hinman. He even let me try out for the Young Gun squad. And I got demolished by Fish, Andy.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't make Sick and Twisted, but dude, Mike Hinman put me on the scene. Like he did a lot for me in paintball. He gave me my first angel.
Oh, wow.
My angel got stolen, and he gave me a die angel.
That's incredible. Yeah, he's put a lot of people.
But like,
yeah.
So like, yeah, so generous, dude, and like tough, like you said, right? Tough love. But if you can take it, I think that's the way to. I mean, the results speak for itself. He's brought a lot of people up.
Yeah, and I kind of joke like, if you want to be a professional, you want to be good, you have to play like every weekend. You have to work out every day. You have to watch and study and learn the game every day. You have to do drills and do all the little things and the sprints and have your gun around the house and snap shooting and thinking and just do that for 10 years, or 15 years, and then you'll be good. Sounds so simple.
It's easy. Yeah. It's more than 10,000 hours with paintball.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's 10,000 hours in each action. 10,000 hours of diving. 10,000 hours of snap shooting. 10,000 hours of running and gunning. Everything.
Yeah, and that's something. Knowing that's something like you could, because you can't be at the field. Think about when you're at the field, you're only playing maybe an hour of actual paintball if you're there for 6 hours. But like you said, it's the action. So if you're at your house, like I'm in my gym right now and I have my gun set up, and in between sets, I'll just have my gun in my hand. I don't know what I'm doing. And people ask me, I'm like, just put it in your hand and figure it out. Just, you're switching your hands back and forth. You're pulling off the gate, you're snap shooting, you're ducking, whatever, just have your gun in your hand and those hours accumulate. For some reason it works.
It does work. Like you can, even if you're sitting there watching Netflix and you have your paintball gun in your hand and you're pretending like you're shooting the people on TV, those minutes count too.
Yep. And then the time you're thinking of the game, I don't play very often. Like most years, most seasons, I typically only practice when we have tournaments and practices for those tournaments. So maybe 15 to 20 weekends of the year I'm playing. But granted, with that being said, when I was growing up and kid, I was there every weekend. So, and two, I kind of view it as not the things I did, but the things I didn't do in a lot of the cases, like when I had practice, I didn't go out, I didn't drink, I don't drink, I stayed healthy, I eat healthy, I try to maintain a good balance in life, but I just was always prepared, before a practice, I was going to get a good night's rest, I was going to eat and drink water, I was going to do all of the things, I wasn't going to go out and mess around,
Yeah, that's called discipline.
Yeah, discipline.
Cool. All right. Well, Dalton, dude, what would you say that you're most thankful for that paintball has given you in life?
Most thankful. I know most people say they're friends, but to be honest, it's a weird one. Maybe, I don't know if you've had this one, but I think, well, you probably have. The confidence. I think just confidence in knowing I had something to fall back on, because it's funny, you live a day-to-day life and people see you and they don't know that I play professional paintball, and I don't think I'm higher than people that whatever, but to me it's just a confidence, because they're looking at me like, oh, you don't know how to do this. You're like, I started a new job, and it's like, oh shoot, I got to learn all this stuff, I don't know how to do it, and they're like looking at me like, you don't know. And I'm like, to me, and I'm thinking about paintball, I'm like, well, I have this thing I'm good at, so I don't care. But just the confidence that paintball has given me, like just knowing that I have something that I'm good at, that I cherish, that I always look forward to. Paintball has given me obviously friends, and my family is fully invested into paintball. So paintball is everything to me.
I think that's a message for the younger generation too. At least that's a message that I needed to hear, because when I was a pro paintball player, I was actually kind of ashamed of it. When someone asked me what I did for a living, I'd be like, you wouldn't get it, and I'm already defeated, right? You wouldn't get it, but this is what I do. It's like, No, like stand there, stand your ground and be like, I play professional paintball. I get to
Yeah.
travel the world and shoot paintballs at other people for a living. That's what I do. So I think if you've mastered that craft, you should own it and embrace it and exude that confidence that Dalton is talking about.
Yeah, because like you said, not too many people get that opportunity to make money in this
No.
game. And
Yeah.
that's definitely a lesson I learned, when I was younger. It's like, do you want to work a job? And now I work a job and do both. So I didn't do it perfectly, but it's like you have to sacrifice a little now and you could do the things you love later, just,
Mm,
and
I love
looking
that.
back, I kind of wish I did it different. Like we talked about, like I wish, how just you're doing with this and PTG does it and Spick and Span and Tyler, and like they somehow figured out a way just solely to do paintball, which that was one thing maybe I regret, and maybe I could still do it, but it's like that's one thing I wish I was able to do, just fully paintball. And if you're young and you you just have to a lot of sacrifice now,
You
whatever
can
you're gonna do.
absolutely do it.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
absolutely do it, Dalton. 'Cause I mean, I started working at Push in 2001 from the real estate industry. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
start putting content on Paintball Nerd until November of 2022. So like a few months ago.
yeah, yeah.
You can do it. Anyone can do it. Um, so yeah. Well, Dalton, dude, I really appreciate your time here. Is there anything that you'd like to part with for the paintball community?
No, I'm just super excited about this season, like more than I've ever been. I'm so excited for a new challenge, new teammates, just paintball as a whole, tournament paintball. It's just the best. So let's do it. I can't wait.
Cool. Thanks, Dalton.
All right.